Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, Sir Entrepreneur. Happy belated Memorial Day for those of you, hopefully, that have taken the time to given a moment or two for those many men and women who have sacrificed their lives for us so that we could enjoy. But I want to let you know that Memorial Day is not about being sad. It's about being grateful for being here and for all those men and women did for us. So let's kick off the show. We have a really, really great show for you guys here tonight. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Our master topic of the week is building unity, guys. Yes, building unity through clarity, communication, and compassion. And the granular topic is when saying less speaks louder, the power of purposeful silence in communication. So we're on Series 4, Show 22, Episode number 3. I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day with friends and family, maybe at a barbecue or whatnot. Maybe went to a parade, or maybe just stayed home and just chilled. All right. Well, I do want to invite you to go to believemeachieve.com for, of course, more of my amazing, inspiring creations, which you can incidentally do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So why not check that out? After the show, you can do it 24 hours a day. So definitely love you to check that out, guys. And I know that you will definitely be glad that you did. Right? If you're thirsty or maybe you're hungry, head on over to the kitchen and get something delicious. Maybe hot, maybe cold, maybe a snack, maybe some fruit, maybe healthy, maybe sweet or tart or not. Totally up to you. And then head on back to the show. All right, everyone. Well, welcome. My name is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm not only a podcast host, but I'm also a podcast coach, engineer, a video production specialist, and of course, you know me as a serial entrepreneur, and I'm also a graduate student now pursuing my master's in computer science. So I think you'll realize that life is better when we want to learn. Okay. It's not about, learning and then being done. But I think it's important to understand, um, you know, how to learn and making those choices to learn, everyone. So, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. As we said, tonight's topic is when saying less speaks louder, the power of purposeful silence in communication. When we don't say anything, sometimes people think something's wrong, but that might actually be an indication of something else. All right. So, in this powerful episode, I'm going to uncover the strength behind saying less and saying it well. Clear communication isn't about flooding people with information, it's about delivering the right message at the right time, in the right way. Whether you're a leader, managing a crisis, a parent, guiding a family, or a business owner, protecting relationships, the decision to not share details can be one of the most powerful tools in your communication toolbox. Join me as I break down how and why the strategy works and how it can build deeper trust and stability and an understanding when it matters most. All right, guys, let's just dive right in because I can't wait to get into the show's meat. No details were shared by the design. That's the first thing. Sometimes silence speaks volumes. Choosing not to share details isn't about withholding, it's about protecting. Whether it's to safeguard privacy, ensure safety, or pressure the integrity of an ongoing process, the deliberate choice to remain discreet is a form of leadership in a world that demands instant transparency. This approach shows wisdom, foresight, and control. It reminds your audience that not every piece of information is necessary to understand the big picture. All right, so number 2 is clear, calm, and official messaging only. Chaos loves confusion. That's why official communication needs to be clear, calm, and deliberate. No speculation, no vague reassurances, just solid, steady messaging from authoritative sources. When messages are carefully crafted and calmly delivered, they cut through the chase of the anxiety and create a sense of structure and true confidence. even in uncertain moments. The tone is the message, and staying composed reassures those who are listening. Number three, guys, trusting. Yes, trusting messengers. No rumors in challenging times. Who delivers the message matters as much as what is said. By relying on trusted, familiar messengers, those who have built credibility over time with us, will you avoid the rumor mill and keep your audience grounded in truth? These messengers carry not only information, but reassurance. The presence of trust allows the message to land fully and prevents outside noise from drowning it out. That's also why sometimes somebody who's a messenger that's very trusted and regarded will be very careful about wanting to share a message that they think is unclear or that might leave somebody in a tobacco or confuse someone. Number four, communication was intentional, not reactive. See, good communication isn't just a reaction, it's a plan. When you wait for the right time to speak, you send a message of control and stability. Reacting emotionally or prematurely can erode credibility, but intentional communication builds it. Each word is chosen with purpose. This approach doesn't just deliver information, it delivers confidence. Number five, we informed without oversharing. There's a fine line between being transparent and being excessive. Oversharing can create confusion, raise more questions than it answers, or even cause harm by focusing only on what people need to know. You keep the message digestible and relevant. It also shows respect for those impacted and those receiving the message. Thoughtful boundaries in communication demonstrates mature and a high level of care. But I think so many people out there want to just get something off their chest, but they don't often think about the fact that maybe they didn't say it properly or use the right channels to deliver. I think that's a very, very important thing, guys. A very, very important thing. All right. So, number six, privacy respected, clarity maintained. Respecting privacy doesn't mean leaving people in the dark. You can maintain clarity while honoring confidentiality. It's about what can be said in a way that acknowledges the situation without exposing sensitive or personal details. That balance communicates professionalism and empathy, especially in emotionally charged moments. It shows your audience that you value both truth and human dignity. Number seven, guys, less said is more trusted. When people know you're not sharing just to fill space, they lean in more closely to what is being said. Saying less can actually increase credibility because it shows you're being intentional, not performative. Trust grows when people believe you're not hiding the truth, but choosing your words for the greater good. Restraint, when used wisely, is a communication superpower. And I think a lot of people out there don't realize that there is power in restraining. There is power in, you know, not saying something. But so many people I know just feel like they're like at ends, like they've got to solve everything tomorrow. And they don't necessarily think about the consequences. They don't think about how they should take a breath before they speak. You know, when we speak, it's important to choose the words carefully. Even though I said to you 7% of the meaning is only in the words, I think those that do that develop a greater level of respect for many people, for many, many people. And I know that you're probably saying to me, John, like, I don't quite get this. I know you don't get it. But sometimes you get things as you move along. And I feel the ones that are trying to, let's say, jam a story down your throat are the ones that really we can't trust. The ones that probably have had a bad reputation in the past. The ones that maybe are doing something for a false reason, like not their true core reason. They're doing it because they're being sold out. Now, I don't mean by money. It could be anything, not just money. It could be any type of thing. It could be doing something, a favor for a friend. And it could be doing something that goes against their moral compass because they're trying to prove themselves to somebody else. That's a really bad thing, guys. but it happens time in and time out. I want to be truthful and let you know that. Well, guys, this is the part of the show that I really enjoy. And you know what I do in this part of the show, don't you? Well, if you've been watching for a while, you definitely know. So I'm going to give you basically a personal story of mine for each point. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm hoping that this will give you a tangible concept that you can drive home, and thus you can remember this and choose to apply it in your own life, which is what I'm hoping you'll do. And then you're going to own this concept. It's not going to be like John just talked about it on his show. He actually gave examples and personal stories in his own life on how this affected him and those around him. So I think that's an important thing, guys. And I think for whatever reason, many people don't realize that a story is often the key to helping someone understand a personal story. So no details were shared by design. There was a time in my business when a key client was going through a serious legal situation. While we were still providing them services, I chose not to discuss the matter internally beyond what was necessary for day-to-day operations. Staff were curious, vendors asked questions, but I kept things discreet to protect our clients' privacy and to prevent gossip or misinformation from disrupting operations. That conscious silence showed my team that leadership means knowing when to basically be quiet. Number 2, clear, calm, and official messaging only. During a power outage that affected multiple clients, we were flooded with questions. Rather than feeding the frenzy with scattered replies, I prepared one clear factual announcement that was sent out through an official communication channel. We didn't speculate, we simply explained what was known and what steps were being taken. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Clients appreciated the calm tone, and it minimized panic. It taught me that clarity and composure in messaging is everything during a crisis. Now, it wasn't our data centers that went down. It was actually things like Optimum, Altice, and Time Warner. And we were just trying to give them information about when their internet would be back up. But of course, because we're their technology provider, suddenly we're responsible for them going down. Well, not really, but we do take responsibility and ownership when that happens and make sure people are aware of the truth. Number 3, trusted messengers. No rumors when a partner company suddenly shut down. Many of our clients were impacted and understandably worried. I chose to deliver the message personally in a video message and in a written form. Because I had already built a foundation of trust with my clients through previous consistent and authentic communication, they received the news with understanding rather than, I should say, hesitation and any frustration. And no rumors spiraled because the message came from someone they trusted, their vendor. But I think a lot of times, also being a person in the media for a long time, I always say, people have said, if it leads, it bleeds. I don't like to write that. I like to write the truth that I believe will set you free, the truth that might not be what people want to hear, but it is the truth. Number 4, communication was intentional. It's not reactive. In a public speaking engagement years ago, I was once asked a very inflammatory and off-topic question during a Q&A. I paused, I took a breath and said, I think we can have a great conversation about that at another time. I didn't react emotionally or engage defensively. That moment stuck with many attendees and actually earned me more respect. Being intentional instead of reactive keeps your reputation and your integrity intact. I think a lot of people want to push your buttons. I had a person literally just today on one of the channels, which I have lots of different social media channels, and I was posting some of the current event that we're holding tomorrow, and I got a comment from somebody. Our ad was really pushing out to thousands of people, and instead of saying something nice, he came out and said, well, I would definitely, no one would attend an event like that the way you marketed it. So I responded back to him in a nice way. I said, well, that's a very interesting statement you made. And obviously, you have a reason for saying it. I'm curious, would you please share it with me? Now, of course, this guy was a total airhead, But I gave him the opportunity to basically vent. He didn't care about anything. All he cared about was making himself better than everyone else. And that's not a leader. That's just toxic behavior. Number five, we informed without oversharing. We're rolling out a new tech solution that had a few bugs in it in the early deployment. I had to update our users. Instead of diving into every technical hiccup, I summarized the main issue, shared what we were doing to resolve it, and gave a realistic time frame. Clients didn't need the messy behind the scenes play by play. They need the assurance and results, and they got both. The experience taught me that relevance is more powerful than raw transparency. Number six, guys, privacy respected, clarity maintained. I don't know why so many people feel that they don't want to act with clarity. They don't want to act with respect. Is it something that maybe is, I don't know, beneath them? One of my employees went through a serious personal health matter. And while the absence was noticeable, I shared only what the individual was comfortable with and framed it with respect and optimism. The team was updated enough to adjust workloads and support the colleague, but no personal medical details were disclosed. It was a delicate balance, but it reinforced our values of dignity, respect, and professionalism. When the person came back to full time working, he felt comfortable sharing some of the things. And one of the things he came to me personally and said, John, you know, I know you didn't have to keep all that stuff confidential, but I really appreciate that you did. And I feel much more confident sharing with you and with the people here I work with because I feel that we're a family. And I could see they were concerned to be with me and not trying to ask questions. Many of them said, you know, hey, I hope everything's going well. You don't have to share anything you don't want. I just want to make sure you're okay. If you need anything, I'm here. And that was really great that they didn't probe, they just respected me. Number seven, guys, less said, more trusted. After a failed joint venture with one of our clients entered with another client, I had the opportunity to go public and clear the air for them in our public media relations company with all the gritty details. Instead, I issued a brief, dignified statement. The gritty details is what people wanted, but I issued this dignified statement thanking everyone involved, owning their part, and signaling a focus on future. I didn't need to defend or to actually explain. And I think that's important. And so the fact that I issued this brief, dignified statement thanking everyone and owning their parts signaled a focus on the future. I didn't need to defend or explain what that company was doing. The simple statement earned me more respect and trust from my peers than I ever could have imagined. And than any long winded explanation or any false PR release. Over time, people saw that I led with accountability and grace. Even when things didn't go perfectly, they knew that John was going to do what he had to do to get their backs. And I think that's an important thing. So these experiences have taught me that sometimes the most powerful forms of communication are restraint. Purposeful silence, when paired with wisdom and intention, can deepen trust, maintain respect, and guide others more efficiently and effectively than 1,000 words ever could. Maybe you've noticed a medical situation. Maybe paramedics were there and stuff, and maybe the person wasn't related to your family and you wanted to know something, but they wouldn't share anything. And they did that out of HIPAA rules, right? Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, but also out of respect. And I think when people understand what respect is, which I want to go into a moment and share this, basically Merriam-Webster, and it's the word respect. And I want to read her definition of respect. And I hope you'll come to appreciate this. Respect is a noun, a relation or reference to a particular thing or situation, an act of giving particular attention, high or special regard, the quality or state of being esteemed, the expression of high or special regard or deference. The verb of respect, to consider worthy of high regard, like esteem, to refrain from interfering with, to have reference to, concern. And I think a lot of people out there, say they care about others, but then when push comes to shove, they're into this gossiping. And I know whether you're grammar school, high school, or you're older or working, I know that there is the temptation to want to be able to share details, but the details are not always the right details. And then when you flood people with this and then they're wrong, you know what happens? People get pissed off. Why? Because you're not only giving them the wrong information, then they're sharing it, and they don't think they're gossiping. They think they're giving the truth, but really you're just giving a back jab story. And they don't know that it's a back jab story, right? I'd much rather know nothing than have a half-backed story. I mean, that's just my thing that I want to share with you, because I think so many people in our world don't get the fact that stories need to come out and they need to be truthful, guys. They have to be truthful. You might say, John, I don't need to be truthful. Well, I'm here to tell you that you absolutely do need it to be truthful. Maybe you think that getting the story out is going to make you the leader in the beginning because, you know it before anyone else, right? And I remember being in grammar school, and I remember, something happened on the playground, right? And the first instinct was, as soon as we knew some details, right? People that never talked to you would come around. Well, John, did you hear what happened? Yeah. Oh, great, great. We're pals. You could tell me. And it was kind of like this rite of passage thing. And even if you didn't know the story correctly, you shared it. And you know what they did? They went and blabbed to this person. And if your story was wrong, well, that's what Morley said, or that's what Johnson said. And so after that happened once or twice, I said, you know what? I'm better off to not say anything. And they was like, well, Jen, you know what happened? I said, I do. However, I'm not 100% sure about all the details, so I'd just rather not share them this time. Oh, well, you could tell me. Well, no, I can't. Because you remember what happened the last few times. I told you something that I thought was truthful. Then I found out that it was wrong, and then you threw it back in my face. So I'm just not going to share anything. All right? You can find it on your own. And that made the person regress, thinking about how rude they had been. Now, I wasn't looking for an apology, but I knew that I wasn't going to be treated in that manner before. Now, maybe they didn't do it intentionally. Maybe they were just backlashing because of what happened. And because of that, maybe that's the reason. Maybe, right? Maybe that's the reason. But then maybe it isn't. And I think if we understand what the true reason is, okay? The reason I think it comes down to your integrity. It comes down to what you stand for in life. And everybody wants to get on the stage, right? But being on the stage sometimes is overrated. When you get on the stage because of the value you bring and other people put you on the stage, that's one thing. But when you choose to put yourself on that stage, on that pedestal, well, might go well and it might not. When other people choose to put you on the stage, it's usually because of the respect, the valor, and the integrity for which you stand for. I mean, think about that situation that I had in grammar school. Didn't have a clue that that was going to be a problem, right? I didn't have a clue. And so when we want to communicate, we have that impulse, okay? And that impulse is about something, I'm going to say, really, really important. Something I feel that maybe could change who you are as a person. Not because of something you said, but maybe because of something they interpreted. Because we all know that life's about interpretations, right? And so I know that sometimes interpretations are wrong. Does that make sense? And so, if we know that interpretations can sometimes be wrong, we want to make sure that we don't have those bad interpretations, right? It's one thing if an interpretation happens and you get it, right? It's another thing to be able to admit that you're saying something wrong. I mean, in this case, when I had given the story, first of all, I should never have given the story in the first place because I never validated the truth. How do I validate the truth? Maybe I go up to the people and say, what happened? Right? I heard something happen. What happened to Ryan? Oh, he got into a fist fight. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Chris came after him. He hit him. He slugged him. And then he called him a name. And now he's off to the hospital. Instead of, well, Ryan just picked on this kid. No, Chris actually picked on the kid and called him fat or something. And then he retaliated. But you see how it's almost like the game of telephone. You probably all played the game of telephone. If the message came out right every time, then the game of telephone would be like for naught, right? But that's the whole point, is that most people don't listen. And this is why the game of telephone is amazing. I remember the first time I played, and somebody started something way at the end, and I was like way at the other end. And when it came out to me, it was like, what are we having for lunch? But that wasn't the original message. The original message was something like, what time is early dismissal on Friday? And that got really changed into what, so it was still time, but the ending got changed. Another time we said something about, where do you want to go for your vacation this summer? That was what we asked. What came out was, what books are you going to read this summer? Like, totally different. So I hope that this makes some sense to you. And I hope that these personal stories of mine will teach you the importance of knowing that you don't just blab, you don't just share a story because you want to be a hero. You're going to be not a hero if you do that. You're going to be disregarded, you're going to be disrespected. So who needs that? Why gossip? Validate your stories. Make sure they're truthful before you share them. And if somebody pressures you to share them, say, hey, I don't have all the facts. I don't gossip, and I need to make sure what I'm saying is truthful before I share it. And I need to talk to the person to find this out first. People will respect you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I'll catch you real soon, everyone.